This is Issues of the Moment, a current affairs program of Living Television Aba in Southeast Nigeria. I'm yes. That's the issue we are going to discuss today, and I have with me in the studio St. Moses Ogbonna. St. Moses Ogbonna is an Aba-based lawyer. He is also a human rights activist. I also have in the studio Mr. Uche Emeko. Mr. Uche Emeko, this is the first time he is appearing on the program. I also have a regular contributor as far as Issues of the Moment is concerned. He is Professor Chinedum Adiele. Professor Adiele is a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are welcome.
Let me start with you, St. Moses Ogbonna. We all know that police brutality cannot be completely eradicated in our society. But is there a decline in cases after that NSAS protest?
Thank you very much. The case of the police will set up incessant harassment of the citizens, police brutality, violence in a manner that the citizens were now becoming afraid of the police more than they were afraid of the criminals. You see the police incriminating the citizens, changing the name from SARS to now Arares, and there's another one they call SWAT. The scenario that brought up NSAS has gradually crept back into the society, into the lives and the duties of the police. The police now have a handphone, carrying handphone. That's it, is now a crime. Carrying a laptop is now a crime.
Okay, don't worry. As Moses Ogbonna, we will come to that. Now, Uche Emeko. The NSAS protests took place in 2020, more than 1 year after. Have you observed
intimidation and harassment of the citizens? I'll give you an example. Just the other day, somewhere here in Aba, my child visited us from the school. And he wanted to go back to the school, just a stone throw from our residence. Well, he did not agree. He said he can get back to his school, that there will not be any problem. But not up to 5 minutes he left the house, he received a phone call that he has been picked by these SARS men from one of the police stations around this area. Well, in fact, I was alarmed. I tried to find out why, but we were not able to get a clear picture. So we now received a call from him. He said that they have released him and that right now he's back in school. And we tried to find out why they had to pick him in the first place. He said, when they picked him up, that they had to search his phone, ask him what his job was. And he told them he's a student, a medical student. And they went through his phone for whatever reasons, I don't know. But they later released him when they found out that there is nothing incriminating. Under that situation, I couldn't imagine why they had to search his phone. I do not know why. I don't know why they picked him up. He dresses decently. He wasn't in any car. He was just to pick up a bike, maybe back to his school.
Not dreadlock.
Not dreadlock, nothing. If you see him, you will understand, but his dressing alone will tell you that he's a very responsible child. Now, that thing, it gave me a lot of concern. So the area I am pointing at is that the brutality, I tried to find out what could have been the problem. They told me to go my way, that my child is not there. I said, but there must have been something happening around, so that some of us living around can also take precaution. Apart from that, when you find out that Aba has been a place that the police has taken it upon themselves to be harassing, children.
Okay, Uche, thank you very much. That is the situation in Nigeria. Professor Dele, before I come to you, let me ask Sam Moses this question. You heard what he said, that police search the phone of his ward. Now, I'm asking you this question because of your vocation. You are a lawyer. Is there any law in our statute books that empower the police to search the phone of any individual?
There is what before him. What I do not know is, with the present situation in Nigeria and Aba, what the police calls reasonable suspicion. When you see, the other day they caught my son, who is an engineer in the studio here, because he carried a laptop on bail for just carrying laptop, nothing incriminating. We are still asking, if you, peradventure you open the phone, how many of these Yahoo boys have we seen arrested and convicted by police under the stop and search operation? No. So, to answer your question in a nutshell, even the IG has said, stop arresting people because of phone. Stop harassing the youth because of answer customers you collect. Whoever visits your shop, collect his WhatsApp number. We open a platform for your clients so that you will be able to reach them, intimate them of new products you have in your shop. They will know your activities, you will know them. So, in a nutshell, there is no such law that prohibits anybody from freely moving on the street with his.
In the wider society.
Well, it all depends on what you mean by asking too much from the police. These are men who are trained to do a particular job, just like you're here. You are a trained journalist, that's why you're seated here. And then if you decide to work outside the scope of your business and profession to do something else, who do we blame? You or the society or the people that employed you? So I don't think the society is asking so much from the police, except that the police, because of greed, I think they are anywhere as it is in Aba. It is mostly in Aba. Then when I used to be a very good friend to some of them, the Nigerian police guys here, you discover that a particular place, a particular person, a particular officer will pay a huge amount of money to ensure he's not posted out of this place. Most of them, when they are posted out, they will pay through their nose to ensure that they are retained here. Why? Because of what happens here. Because Aba is predominantly, owned by traders and so on, and people who are always very busy, who are not ready to go to sort it out either in the station or even don't have time for a police case, and that is why they capitalize on that to deal with people. It has happened severally, even before our office here, and I know him, he's a student. I know the mother who sent him. So that level of embarrassment is too much. What are the people asking from the police? If we should look at the definition and also the literary meaning and understanding of all the military and paramilitary, the police, they are supposed to be the closest people to us here. Because the army themselves should be at the borders or live in the bush. The Navy should live in the water. The Air Force should live in the air. With the police only that we have to stay here. But unfortunately, the police pry into your privacy. And the way they do it is so intimidating that the young men are now afraid. If you have a bushy hair, you are in trouble. If you have a dreadlock, maybe you're a musician. In those days, those who are involved in reggae music are known with the dreadlock. You are in trouble.
Even footballers now.
Even footballers now, yes. Most footballers, have that. You are in trouble. So what kind of society are we living in? And they are not doing this to sanitize the society. Just about how much they make.
Extortion.
The last group of SARS that were here, we learned at the point they were moving with POS. The moment they search and look into your phone and there is money there, they'll bring out the POS, ask you for your card and tell you how much you transfer to them. When you look at all this thing, it's out of the way. It is out of the constitution. It is out of the constitution. The road, so they cannot do that job because they've learned so much. They make so much money in blocking the road, and because of that, they will not take their job serious. So I think something must be done. Both the IG of police and all the senior officers, and most of them will openly. The other one they said they sacked the other day. They openly said that even his DPO knows what he's doing. So I think the
illegal collection of money for bail. But it does appear that these orders are being flouted. Is that not a sign of decay in the police?
Yeah, it's a serious sign of decay. You see, there is something where, part of the problem the police and the society have now is that the law, somebody came to an office where I am staying, as a human rights activist, and then made a complaint. And the complaint is against a policeman that is living in the same vicinity with her. And in fact, the people around there are really being terrorized for extortion. For instance, moving your file from this office to this office, you have to pay money. And these things get me mad sometimes. Because now, who will now take that matter to the court? If you find your way by any means taking that matter to court, you will also be frustrated. Because even the lawyers will come there. Nobody will want to volunteer to put the society in order. After all, the police is supposed to be a major instrument for the protection of democracy. Sum of 200,000 from him. And when this matter got to our office, we were about going when the boy called us and said that they have released him because one of his uncles is a policeman in that station. And so that uncle went to the officer and told him that if he does not return that money, that he will be in a lot of mess. And so you can imagine that kind of thing. That is agreeing with...
What happened to the money?
And they gave him back. After washing a car, the boy, the man, the attendant there, now drove that car out. And that he was just moving to go park it to the owner's place. The police on the way caught him. And by the way, is police supposed to be mounting roadblocks within the town? Are they supposed to be intimidating people? Now, if you move just some few meters away from here, you will see them. Even at this vicinity, yes. I make bold to tell you that. What do they do there? They continue searching. People you're afraid of any longer. Because the man that is supposed to handle your case and put you in the right order is also, is your pally. And so how do you make it? In fact, if I tell you the kind of situations we have that has come to our office, you will be sorry for whoever ventures that is arrested by police for any reason at all. I don't like to go there.
Okay, thank you, Uche Meko.
Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know every Nigeria, which way Nigeria, which way to go, which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh sure, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall.
Our conversation is centered on extortion and harassment by law enforcement agents, and we are focusing on the activities of the Nigerian police. At this point also, we are going to open our telephone line so that you can be part of this interesting discussion. You can reach us on 091 6828 4994. I'm going to take it again, 091 6828 4994. Now, Sembosi Sobona, before we went on that short break, I promised you that I'm still going to ask you the reason for flouting the orders.
Whether the order has been there or not, or is being flouted or not, or is being maintained or not, are part and parcel of the crime. For instance, if the Inspector General of Police gives an order, the order is being transmitted to the AIGs and to the Commissioners of Police, who will now. If the man who ought to report you to IG is the person you are bringing the booty for, he will not. I remember one incident that happened the other day, where it is alleged that some policemen rough-handled a youth in the evening. In fact, set a dog against him. When we took the matter to the DPO defended them. Said it's not true, that the boy has no business to be there around that time. That there was no dog there at all. The following day, they killed the dog and ate. So, by the type of organized crime that is prevalent at a particular time. The crime we have now is not the street crime. It is most especially kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery, insurgency. Those are the crimes that are prevalent now. It is not car theft. Every police in Nigeria, 90 planted exhibits in your boot to incriminate you. It is better for Nigerian police to catch a criminal so that they will have money than to catch a man who has nothing incriminating upon him. And they will frown at you. I say, hey, because you are a lawyer. Hey, because you are a government officer. After they have checked your particulars, gone through your car, and saw that nothing is there. We have not seen any trailer stopped at any checkpoint, and the policemen climb into the vehicle to see what is inside that vehicle. Nobody. Once you bring out your hand and say to the police, that is the end of the road. Now, there is nothing like community. No, community does not exist. No land is there for community. None for local government. None for state. You can't stand on Abia State. This ought to engage the people in the village. It worries me and bothers me when people say people are kidnapped and taken into a forest. Where is that forest? In a particular village. And the police from Enugu will come and claim he wants to locate where those bandits are. Without
complaints against police officers, and that a total of 258 police officers have been punished and 31 dismissed. The report went further to say that the unit said that it recovered 55.6 million naira as proceeds from extortion and money returned to their owners. Is that not alarming?
Well, the story you read out here is like a man who comes back from the prison and is boasting before his village men that what he did with the prison warders is wonderful. Will you go to the prison to ascertain what he told you? This is